Didn't George Zimmerman date a black woman at the prom, take one to the prom, and didn't he mentor black children on weekends?
At the time this happened, he was mentoring 2 young black children. Even though the mentoring program had been disbanded, he kept it up. He had black children living with him in his home from the time he was 6 to the time he was 12.
There was plenty of evidence, had they even looked, there was plenty of evidence that George Zimmerman was anything but a racist. He mentored African-American children. He took an African-American girl to the prom. He went out and fundraised for an African-American homeless guy who was abused allegedly by a cop's son and fought his cause in front of the county commission. This guy was anything but a racist.
The idea that someone who has black friends or has been nice to black people or has helped black children or little old black ladies across the street can't somehow also have racial bias is just commonsensical nonsense. You know, it's obviously nonsensical to believe that those two things can't coexist. A person can have black friends and still view other black people differently than their friends. I mean, to believe that being close to black folks somehow insulates you from a charge of racism would be like heterosexual men saying, I can't be sexist, I date women. I'm married to one. I can't possibly be I mean, who would say that, right? That would mean that the only men capable of being sexist would be gay men, right? I mean, is that really what we want to suggest? Obviously, a person can be close to people of a different race, a different gender, a different sexuality, a different religion, and still view those who are not close to them as different from their friends. And so George Zimmerman dated a black woman or took her to prom. George Zimmerman mentored black children. Well, George Zimmerman also called the police on an 8-year-old black child or 9-year-old black child who apparently he did not see in the same light as the children he was ostensibly mentoring. So these things are both possible. No one ever said that George Zimmerman was the kind of completely out of control, blind bigot who hated black people, let alone all black people. That's not what racial profiling requires. Racial profiling doesn't require that you hate everyone in the group. It doesn't require that you hate anyone at all. All it requires is that you have certain biases, whether they're conscious or subconscious, which enter your mind in a specific situation. They won't be triggered in every situation. Those cops in New York who do stop and frisk, racial profiling on the streets of New York City, they can engage in decent and kind interactions with black folks and Latino folks in other settings. But in that setting, when the stereotype gets triggered, as it seems clear it was in the case of George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, that's when the bias comes out and all your black friends, all your girlfriends, all the black sports stars you love, all the black music you listen to, all the black children that you mentor, no longer is what's controlling what's going on in your brain. It's when the prejudices begin to take that over.